parent. So if a parent struggled with their own anxiety, their own depression, their own inability to regulate their emotion, the child is very connected, especially to the mother, and may have felt responsible for the parent's feelings or worried about being the why in their parents' stories, ultimately causing them distress. I'll tell my clients things like, we don't have a sense of other when we're little. We don't start to develop that until about the age of 12. And so everything is about me. If I'm a little kid and no one's paying attention, it must be because I'm bad. It must be because I did something wrong. Well, if you think about adaptation, what ends up happening is I then become very aware and vigilant as to what I can do to fix that. And so it becomes an unhelpful adaptation for a child when they don't have that consistent affection and nurture. So that conditional affection looks like love and attention might have been given, like I said, but sometimes taken away, or a reward for good behavior. What a good little girl for cleaning up the house. And now I'm going to give you so many hugs and kisses. And so now my connection is paired with my good behavior, and those become tied. I have to hustle for my worth. I have to do things so that I can get the attention and the connection from somebody. And so these might be your hustle for your worth people who are really high achievers, and they always are striving for the next thing, not healthy striving, that's different, but they're always looking to try to be shiny enough to get on somebody's radar. And they're in compliance, they're good rule followers, and they want to make sure they're seen as a good little boy or a good little girl. Another thing that happens is a parent can give mixed signals. So they might say, I love you, but then they act withdrawn. So I love you too, but I can't bother to tuck you in or go give you a kiss or read you a story. And so that can be very confusing for a child. Or let's say, as a parents, we have our own stresses, we have our bills, we have our jobs, we have our household chores, our everything else that pulls us in every direction as a parent. And so I might be irritable. I remember one time I came home, my second youngest son says to me, I came in the house and the first thing I notice is like the dishes are in the sink and he didn't do his chores. And I'm thankful to this day because he said to me, Mom, you come in and the very first thing you said is the complaint or the problem that you see instead of saying, hey babe, how was your day? I hope that you had a good day, and greeting him with some connection. And I really heard that. I mean, it really stopped me in my tracks. And I thought, he's right. And my own irritability and my own overwhelming stress from my job, I didn't switch states before coming into the house so that I could meet my children with like attunement and love and connection. And so this leaves the child confused and they don't know what to necessarily expect from their parent. And many of us are guilty of that. It's very hard to be attuned and consistent all the time. But if we have that pattern all the time, of the inconsistent love and connection and attunement, it creates anxiety in our offspring. And so, another trait that happens in a child is they kind of become the little adults. They try to anticipate and meet the needs of others. They try to be caretakers of their younger siblings. They try to jump to be super helpful. And they often feel anxious when they're separated from a caregiver, fearing abandonment or being left or disconnection.